That's
Okay.
simply not true. It's what is true to say is that we don't understand how that is being accomplished, and we don't. And even I'll give you even more than that. We don't understand what the relationship between consciousness and matter is.
When you say we don't understand the relationship between consciousness and matter, know that you are not referring to everybody. You're referring to scientists and a particular branch of science. You are not referring to all truth seekers. Because you see, the scientists will look through the limited scope of the idea of physical reality using the limited scientific method to observe, test, unfalsifiable, etc. That's a limited way of trying to derive truth, because really it's been known for a long time in many cultures, the relationship between consciousness and matter. It's actually not difficult. It's only difficult to understand when you're trying to come from a specific rigid point of view. If you are a sincere truth seeker, then please open up to the spiritual perspective. And when one says spiritual, it does not mean otherworldly. It's simply another perspective. Science is a perspective. Religion is a perspective. Spirituality is a perspective. Non-duality is a perspective. It's all perspective. But the question is, what is most close to our direct experience of reality? What has the least inference? What can we all agree is for sure true? The relationship between consciousness and matter is this. There's many ways to say it, but they are inseparable for one. Have you ever perceived matter without consciousness? Has matter ever perceived consciousness? Well, how could you know that without consciousness? Are you certain that matter could be conscious? Matter by itself, dead inert matter, can be conscious? Is it not self-evident that consciousness is always primary, always the background of matter? And that matter is an experience in front of consciousness? Switch off consciousness. Does matter still exist? Can you possibly know that? Remove all matter from reality. Does consciousness still exist? Of course, you'd be conscious of the absence of matter. Consciousness is fundamental. At some point, scientists have to cease the dogma of believing that the scientific method can get to the truth of reality by material means. Consciousness is not physical. Nothing is actually physical. We just say things are. The word physical has connotations, but physical is actually a concept. It's an idea. It really is. Everything you see, you are seeing with something non-physical. We call it sight. Everything you feel with something non-physical. We call it touch. All sounds, which are non-physical anyway, we hear it with something non-physical. We call it hearing. Taste. We taste with something non-physical. We call it taste. Intuition, non-physical. Our life energy, non-physical. When you reduce your experience back to that which is perceiving experience, that which is perceiving matter, you always find it's non-physical. The relationship between consciousness and matter is simply that. Consciousness births matter, just as your mind births matter in a dream. You're walking in a dream, that's matter in a dream, but actually it's just the mind. You see, the mind is like the rookie version of the professional that is pure consciousness. Pure consciousness, which has no locality, hence you cannot find it in the brain because it's not physical. To try to find something non-physical in the brain, I mean, do you really think that's going to happen? One can seek all they like. Of course, there's different roads to truth, and I don't belittle any road, but if you're a sincere truth seeker and you are definitely intelligent, that's clear. Come to the consciousness side, my friend. Why should the truth of reality be complex? Why should it be just for a minute section of society? Shouldn't it be available for everybody? Shouldn't it be direct? Well, it is actually. It's consciousness. But we condition ourselves to believe that the scientific method is the way to truth. No, science relies on philosophy and concepts and inference, with all respect. If you cannot know matter without consciousness, but you can know consciousness without matter, doesn't it follow that matter is dependent upon the observer of it as pure consciousness? And I don't mean the identity. I speak about this all the time on my page. The identity isn't pure consciousness. That comes and goes. That's a thought. We can change our identity at any point. We can lose our mind. But the pure consciousness that is aware of the change of identity, the lack of mind, dementia, that pure I, that never changes. That background which is also there when there are no dreams. That's why you are aware that there are no dreams. Consciousness is fundamental to experience. All is experienced. Life is experienced. Consciousness is the truth. Peace and love. Take care. Have a wonderful day or evening. My fellow expressions of consciousness.